A street vendor in South LA was robbed and beaten. We have the surveillance video as police search for his attackers.
USC is once again the #1 university for video game design. We'll see how 2 SC schools contributed to this success.
And the Persian New Year is tomorrow. See how students are sharing their culture on campus. Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
A South LA street vendor was setting up his fruit cart when 7 people started attacking him. Good evening, I'm Addie Stafford.
And I'm Lauren Floyd. His attackers are still on the loose. Annenberg Media's Suji Nam spoke with other vendors about the dangers they face.
Dramatic surveillance video from a local business shows suspects beating 54-year-old fruit vendor Pedro Reyes and stealing all of his belongings before driving away. This attack happened early Sunday morning in South LA. It put him in a hospital with a broken jaw and a slit throat.
There are many crazy people here. They come, fight, and attack. Sometimes the victims cannot be defended, and so this is something really sad.
There are about 50,000 street vendors in Los Angeles, and many feel unsafe.
Lo que queremos es que las autoridades.
What we want is the authorities to give us the licenses so that we can be safer from the police and from the robbers.
LA is the only major city in the United States where it is illegal to sell food and other items on the sidewalks.
Now, according to one local businessman, he describes this area to be like that of a swamp meet. But today, as you can see, it's desolate.
One advocate for street vending said robbery is not uncommon.
They're met with violence through all sides, whether it's a business owner trying to extort them, or whether it's someone on the street trying to take advantage of them. When your job isn't valued by city council or authorities, then you're going to be vulnerable to these types of attacks.
Some business owners complain about the number of vendors crowding the city. Others say they compete for customers and leave trash behind. Last year, city leaders took the first step in decriminalizing street vending. And for people like Reyes, change can't come soon enough. For Annenberg Media, I'm Suji Nam.
Reyes went into surgery today. His family set up a GoFundMe page to help pay for medical expenses. The page has received more than $80,000 in donations so far.
Facebook is at the center of yet another scandal involving President Trump, personal data, and user privacy. Political data firm Cambridge Analytica is being accused of misusing personal information from over 50 million people and using it to influence voters during President Trump's campaign. A former Cambridge Analytica employee says he was a key player in hijacking millions of users' data to influence voters. He says the data firm spent over $1 million in an unethical breach of users' data. Facebook is suspending the firm and has launched an investigation. The social site says all data obtained through third parties is done with consent from users. But USC professor Dr. Dora Kingsley-Vertenton says the data was stolen and the case poses several violations of privacy regulations.
What Cambridge Analytica did was harvest the social networks for all of those 270 people. So there clearly was no consent for the social networks for all of those people. They might have taken the quiz. That doesn't mean that they assented to having their political targeting happening to their account, and they clearly didn't provide any approval for all of their friends and families' networks to be stolen.
New York professor David Carroll is suing Cambridge Analytica to find out what information they have about him and how they got it.
So the technology used to sell ski vacations is also used to sell political candidates now. When I received my data, it was too difficult to understand and make sense of how it was generated. So that speaks to the idea that they need to disclose more so that we can understand how the profile was created, based on what kinds of activities. Was it based on my credit card purchases, my website browsing activity, or was it derived from Facebook in an illicit manner?
Facebook says it is hiring an outside firm to audit Cambridge Analytica. Its stock sank 6.8% today, its biggest one-day loss since 2014.
With North Korea talks on the horizon, there's been a lot of movement in the White House.
Our political correspondent Kaylee Wells joins us now with the latest. Kaylee?
Thanks, Lauren and Addie. President Trump's White House has seen a lot of retirings, firings, and resignations. And last week's changes are turning heads. Let's break it down. Trump fired former Secretary of State Rex Tillerson in a tweet last week. Trump said his views better align with CIA Director Mike Pompeo, who takes over for Tillerson at the end of the month. Former FBI Director Andrew McCabe's firing that same week came just 2 days before his scheduled retirement. McCabe denies accusations against him of being dishonest and says his firing was a political move. Political expert William Rush says the theme of the firings is loyalty.
I mean, we have a president who has a penchant for firing people, and I think that there's also been a bit of a problem in terms of credible commitment on behalf of appointees or those that are serving for the president and the president himself, meaning can they credibly trust this person to have their back? It seems that loyalty is the priority within this administration, and if there's any perceived disloyalty or a difference of opinion, it seems that he is quick to let these people go.
Rush says some speculate National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster might be next, but that the administration makes it difficult to predict what will happen. Congress is now 6 months behind on voting for the federal budget, but negotiations over a $1.3 trillion spending bill might end this week. Until now, Congress has limped along with short-term spending measures to avoid a government shutdown. Issues like immigration reform and Obamacare have kept tensions high across the aisle. They have until midnight Friday to make a decision or sign their 6th stopgap bill before facing a shutdown for the 3rd time. In Russia, President Vladimir Putin is celebrating an election victory. Putin won 3/4 of the vote over the weekend, with runner-up securing less than 12%. Russian political expert Robert English says the Russian government gave him an edge.
Putin does dominate the news media, and the government also sort of pushed off other likely candidates so that the opposition to him was weak and less well known.
English also says even though the election was dirty, the anonymous political polls also showed a clear preference for Putin. He said the extra few points might have placated him, but he would have won even without the help. That's what's been happening in politics. Back to you, Addie.
Thanks, Kaylee. Police in Austin, Texas believe they may be on the hunt for a serial bomber after a 4th bomb exploded yesterday. Thankfully, no one was killed.
We had told people to report suspicious packages that were being delivered to homes, and at this point we're telling people to call into 911 if they see anything that's suspicious, not to go near it, not to touch it, just to call 911.
This comes after 4 explosions in just 17 days have killed 2 people. In the first 3 bombings, the victims were all minorities, and the bombs were left on front porches or doorsteps. The bomb in yesterday's incident was left on the side of the road in a predominantly white neighborhood. Authorities are asking locals to report suspicious activity. The brother of the teen charged with killing 17 people at a Florida school was arrested for trespassing at the same school. Authorities say 18-year-old Zachary Cruz was found skateboarding after being warned to stay away from the campus. Zachary Cruz says he was there to, quote, reflect on the school shooting and to soak it in. His brother Nicholas Cruz is facing 17 first-degree murder charges in connection with the Valentine's Day shooting.
Mississippi's governor signed the nation's most restrictive abortion law today. The Gestational Age Act bans abortions after 15 weeks, except when the mother's life is in danger. The law does not make exceptions for rape or incest. Less than an hour after the law was signed, Mississippi's only abortion clinic filed a lawsuit against the state in response. Dr. Patrick Whelan said about the new law, quote, my own feeling is that the legislators and the governor in Mississippi are total hypocrites on the issue with no real concern for either the fetus or the mother.
Some drug dealers may face the death penalty as a part of President Trump's new plan to tackle the opioid epidemic. The president spoke on his policy today in New Hampshire.
This scourge of drug addiction in America will stop. The death rate is double the national average. If we don't get tough on the drug dealers, we're wasting our time.
Dealers may face the death penalty in cases where their trafficking directly results in death. Trump's plan also aims to lower both the supply and demand of opioids while limiting overprescription and increasing access to treatment. Congress currently has a $6 billion budget to carry out the plan. Trump wants to decrease prescriptions by 1/3 over the next 3 years. He also mentioned possible legal action against pharmaceutical companies, but did not say what it would be.
Uber stops testing self-driving cars after a woman is killed. The story just ahead.
Persian students are hosting celebrations all week on campus to honor the Persian New Year.
And the School of Cinematic Arts and Viterbi are being recognized for creating the best video games yet again.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. You see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
Fantastic. So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. That was good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit savethefood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
Uber has suspended its self-driving car test after one of their cars killed a woman. The incident is believed to be the first deadly crash involving an autonomous vehicle and a pedestrian. 49-year-old Elaine Herzberg was walking her bicycle when she was struck by the self-driving car. She was taken to a local hospital where she died of her injuries. The president of the Autonomous Underwater Vehicle Design Team on campus says he hopes the accident will, quote, prompt the industry to slow down its rush to get fully autonomous cars on the road, test more thoroughly in controlled environments, and implement more rigorous safety protocols, end quote.
If you think about with roads where there's snow, that going up in the mountains, you see these poles that let the snowplows know where the road ends and the mountain begins. If we had maybe more of those kind of cues to help the driverless system understand where the road is and where it isn't, and maybe help watch for obstacles and all that, that would be quite a different situation. But
in 2017, Uber suspended the same program for 2 days after a crash that did not result in any serious injuries. After yesterday's accident, the company is pausing self-driving test programs in San Francisco, Pittsburgh, Phoenix, and Toronto.
The Los Alamitos City Council is voting tonight on whether to opt out of California's new sanctuary state law. The California Values Act limits cooperation between law enforcement and immigration officials. The City Council says the law is at odds with the U.S. Constitution, but legal experts say the law is constitutional, and Los Alamitos could face a lawsuit if the city passes the ordinance.
Persian New Year is tomorrow, and the USC Persian Academic and Cultural Student Association is holding exhibitions around campus this week to celebrate. The exhibits on Truesdale feature Persian musicians and their work. The Persian New Year, or Nowruz, begins on the spring equinox. Persians typically celebrate the holiday by deep cleaning their homes and celebrating with family.
We travel to, different parts of our country with each other during the first week, and that's a good memory from my childhood. This is the first time that I'm here out of my country for Nowruz, and this is the way I celebrate it because I don't have any families here.
Celebrations will continue on campus throughout the week. The Parkside Performance Cafe will be hosting a free Nowruz feast this Friday. Well, I had a nice week on spring break, so I hope they got a warm week ahead, too.
Yeah, Anissa, what's to expect this week?
Well, over spring break, we did get some rain, but lucky for us today, it did clear up. Now, right now, it's 67 degrees with a humidity of 66%. If we look tomorrow in the Inland Empire, we'll see that Big Bear is 35 degrees. It snowed over the weekend. Palm Springs, 80 degrees, and Riverside, 75 degrees. Now, if we head towards the valley, we'll see that Simi Valley is 71 degrees, Thousand Oaks, 71 degrees, and Malibu, a low 63 degrees. Now, if we head over here towards USC, we'll see that USC is 69 degrees, Glendale 73, and LAX 66 degrees. Now for your 5-day forecast. Tomorrow, it'll be 70 degrees. It will start to rain as we get into the evening. Wednesday and Thursday, expect rain, so make sure you pack an umbrella, your poncho, whatever you need. And it'll start to warm up as we head in towards the weekend. Now, LA is receiving a Hawaiian gift. And no, it's not a luau or a beautiful sunset. It's the biggest storm of the winter.
The storm that's coming is a case of what we call an atmospheric river, sometimes called informally as a pineapple express, and that's because most of the moisture comes from, roughly speaking, the area of the Hawaiian Islands, famous, of course, for their pineapple.
Though this storm will help aid our dry winter, it can also lead to major problems for residents near areas that recently experienced fires.
This particular rainstorm is expected to have very high rainfall, as many perhaps low as 10 inches in the areas recently affected by the Thomas fire. So that's definitely a cause for concern, because as we saw earlier in the season in February with some of the landslides that have happened near Montecito, that's definitely a scenario that could repeat itself.
Residents are advised to remain on the lookout for landslides and also be prepared for possible evacuations.
We have a lot to worry about here in California.
Yeah.
I thought it was just earthquakes and now it's landslides, but
yeah.
Thanks so much for letting us know that, Anissa. USC has always been known for producing amazing filmmakers, but now its cinema school is being recognized for something different: video games. The Princeton Review ranked USC's gaming program the #1 undergraduate video game program in the country. The program is a collaboration between the Viterbi School of Engineering and the School of Cinematic Arts. The associate director of the program in SCA thinks it may be the best program in the world.
I don't think there's a single place in the world with our focus on storytelling, entertainment, future technology, with our connections to industry, with our diverse and professional faculty and student body.
It shows me that we're very well prepared to do what we need to do, because if we're part of the top #1 games program, then that means that we're going to be doing some of the best work, because we've been given the best education that we can get.
USC Games started over 10 years ago. Since then, either the undergraduate or graduate program has been ranked #1 in the country 7 times. After the success of USC Games, the founder of Viterbi's side of the gaming program has high hopes for the future.
At some point, USC is going to realize that it really does need to create a school of games that stands up on its own, has its own space, has its own building, has its own faculty that can better make us all coordinate together.
Students and faculty say they're constantly producing new technological developments and pushing the envelope in the world of gaming. Now, I don't know about you guys, but what's been going on with March Madness? Have you been watching?
I don't know. All I see are upsets. If Mary Page can let us know what's going on.
Thanks, Addie. Basketball has been crazy this past week. We start with a preview of USC's NIT second round game tonight. Then we get into best bracket busters so far. We're talking March's newest heroes, the UMBC Retrievers, and a very special Sister Jean. And our correspondent Sarah McGrew tells us what we missed over spring break in the world of USC athletics. We'll be right back.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up 1 finger if you're a man, women 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Mary Paige Nessvetter, and boy, did a lot of basketball happen over spring break. Tonight, USC takes the court for the second round of the NIT tournament here at the Galen Center. The Trojans will face Western Kentucky tonight, coming off a double overtime victory over UNC Asheville last Tuesday. In that game, seniors Jordan McLaughlin and Elijah Stewart showed up big time, scoring 26 and 22 points respectively. Sophomore Nick Rakocevic stepped up with a double-double in the absence of junior standout Chimezi Metu, who elected not to play. The Trojans enter the game as a #1 seed to take on the #4 Hilltoppers. USC will need strong performances from their seniors, and they have to remember that any game could be their last. They'll be looking out for Hilltoppers standout Johnson, who has scored 5 straight double-doubles. And if your March Madness bracket is just as busted as mine, fear not, because we are not alone. ESPN reports that there are 0 perfect brackets remaining. Number 16 UMBC's historic defeat over overall #1 Virginia Retrievers, but it also demolished the final brackets. 3 of the 6 most popular picks to make the Final Four have been ousted: Virginia, North Carolina, and Michigan State. Sweet 16 play starts this Thursday. In the South region, the #7 Nevada and #11 Loyola Chicago reached the Sweet 16 off of upsets. And in the West, Florida State and Texas A&M pulled off upsets of their own in the second round to earn their spots in the Sweet 16. Both the East and Midwest regions still feature #1 teams. The East is unique in that all 4 higher-seeded teams made it through, featuring top 3 Villanova, Purdue, and Texas Tech. In the East, #1 Kansas and #2 Duke will be joined by #5 Clemson and #11 Syracuse, who each reached on upsets. With upsets all around, it's been one crazy postseason, and it's also been a historic time for USC's women's swim and dive. The team had a strong showing this past week at the NCAA Championships, finishing 12th overall. Sophomore standout Louise Hansen made history in the 100-yard butterfly, winning USC's first title in the event and becoming just the 3rd woman ever to swim under 50 seconds. I caught up with the Swedish Olympian this afternoon.
100 fly have been my best distance for the past 2 years and what I've been training for, and definitely the race I was most excited to go in and swim at NCAA. And I've had a feeling the past year that I could go under 1500 fly, and I've been on 50 low every single time I've tried to go under, and it's been really annoying. So my goal at NCAA was just going under there, and I knew I had it in my body, and it was just an amazing feeling looking at the board and seeing that I achieved my goal. I think I'm the 2nd Swede ever to win an NCAA, and to be able to do it for the team, and yeah, no, it's just an amazing feeling just being on top of the podium. There's always things that can improve, and I'm not satisfied. Like, I want to achieve more in my swimming career. Next goal is to, big goal is to qualify for the Olympics 2020, and every year I have goals on the way, like for Europeans, World Championship, and NCAA. There's always competition, like stepping goals leading up to the big one.
While Hansen's season at USC may be over for now, she's going to start training for the European Championships next week. Our correspondent Sarah McGrew has the update on the rest of the spring sports. What's up, Sarah?
Thanks, Mary Paige. From the pool to the diamond, spring is a busy time for USC athletics, so let's hit the ground running with track and field. At the NCAA Indoor Championships, the men's 4x400 team rebroke their world record. The relay team's anchor, Michael Norman, later broke the 400-meter world record. Over the weekend, the outdoor season kicked off with the Trojan Invitational, where the Trojans finished first in 11 events. Women's lacrosse had a nail-biter week with 2 overtime victories. The team defeated Colorado 8-7 and Oregon 9-8. They are now 3-0 in conference play and will take on Stanford and Cal this week. The baseball team started off its week with a win against number 11 UCLA at Dodger Stadium on Sunday. The Trojans also won their first Pac-12 series against Utah. In the first game of that series, 3 USC pitchers threw a combined no-hitter. Coming up this week for the Trojans, men's swimming and diving is headed to the NCAA championships. Now, if you're looking for a break from USC athletics, Mary Page has a scoop on Loyola Chicago's secret weapon.
I know we're all worried about our March Madness brackets, but let's get real. This year's tournament already has a winner. The Loyola Chicago men's basketball team and their chaplain, Sister Jean, have stolen our brackets and our hearts. 98-year-old Sister Jean Dolores Schmidt first graced our screens in the Ramblers' opening round upset of Miami, but she reached international fame after the epic upset to beat Tennessee in the second round. Sister Jean not only acts as the team's spiritual advisor and life coach, but also sends the players scouting reports before every game. She must be doing something right because this is the first Sweet 16 run for the team since 1985. The number 11 Ramblers take on the number 7 Nevada this Thursday, but Sister Jean already has her sights set on her next accomplishment, The Ellen Show. An online petition has nearly 2,400 signatures.
So sweet.
Well, thanks for that, Mary Page. Actress and activist Cynthia Nixon from Sex and the City has a big announcement for the state she loves.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Former Sex and the City actress and political activist Cynthia Nixon announced on Twitter she is running for governor of New York.
We want our government to work again on health care, ending mass incarceration, fixing our broken subway. We are sick of politicians who care more about headlines and power than they do about us.
Nixon has been outspoken against the Trump administration as well as the current Democratic leadership in New York State. She's challenging current Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo in September's primary.
Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Addie Stafford.
And I'm Lauren Floyd. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.
I vote for Cynthia.